Hello everyone, this is Angela and welcome to my channel, Angie the ENTJ. Please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and click on the notifications bell so that you'll know whenever I upload any new content. Okay, so there were a couple of videos on social media that went viral recently regarding two women who went out on a first time date. The first woman is one who I'll refer to as Miss Oyster Bar, because she ate 4 dozen oysters at a cost of $15 per plate, and then afterwards went on to order something else before the guy who asked her out walked out on her, left his drink, and also left her with the tab. The second lady, or the second woman, is one who I will call Miss Cheesecake Factory, because, honey, she was too fly to get out of that car at a chain restaurant. So let's watch each video briefly, and then I will be back.
Y'all, so today I linked with this nigga I met a few weeks ago out with my friends. This nigga been texting me for weeks talking to himself. Why I didn't block him, bitch, I don't know. But today I was bored and I had time, so he texted me like, can we meet for drinks? And I'm like, yeah, meet me here. They got the best fucking oysters in Atlanta, like, hands down. So I'm like, yes, I can get some content. Come on. It's so good. Y'all, when the fourth one came out, he was looking at me crazy. I didn't give a fuck. I'm like, baby, you invited me out. I'm gonna eat. And I was coming anyway. But I ain't gonna lie. No, I wouldn't have did all that. But I did do all that. They was so good. I was not expecting it to be that good. Oh my God. It was just so good. Like, I had to. It was so good. So after that, I'm like, baby, what's next? What I'm about to eat? These potatoes, they were so good. And the crab cakes, everything was so good. 10, baby. Why the fuck this bitch ass nigga say he going to the bathroom and never come back? The fuck? I'm like, hold the fuck on. It's been like 10, 20, 30 minutes, bitch. What the fuck this nigga at? Had to end up grabbing a tab, bitch. Nigga left me with his little one fucking drink. Yeah, bitch, I'm so glad bitch keep me some money, cause what? That was crazy to me. And I said, bitch, you running out on the tab. He talking about, I'm offering you to drink. The fuck are you talking about, bitch? Y'all, so today.
Let me just get the door for you.
Okay. He got me at the Cheesecake Factory, y'all. I ain't getting out this car. Yes.
Would you want me to open the door for you? Look. Are you're recording me?
Yeah. Yeah. This is the Cheesecake Factory. This is the Cheesecake Factory, y'all.
What's the problem with that?
This is a chain restaurant. Who takes someone that looks like this to a chain restaurant?
You want to talk about it? I'm fine with talking about it, even in front of them.
Oh yeah, I want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Come on, get up on in the car. Yeah, we're gonna talk about it. Oh, okay.
Okay. So,
yes, let's talk about it. Let's talk about it.
So you expect a man to go all out on the first date. Is that right?
I mean, you're supposed to. When you take out a beautiful woman and you're courting her,
because I get courted. So you're courting her, right? You're supposed to take care of her. You're supposed to cover her. You're supposed to protect her, cherish her, treat her well, right?
Yeah.
That's what you're supposed to do.
I agree. I went into this date as I expect, with the expectations for myself, to keep you safe, you know, to respect you, to pay for your food, of course, pick you up, of course, and just treat you like a gentleman, which I believe I have done.
I mean, you've been pretty nice, but I mean,
and then
Cheesecake Factory.
I, on the other hand, have certain expectations for a girl I go out with on the first date. I expect her to be respectful too. I expect her to be cooperative, and at least, you know.
What did I do that wasn't cooperative?
Well, I mean, like, even like when we were walking to the car, you wouldn't put your hand around my arm or anything like that, or hold my hand or anything like that.
I mean, it's too early for that.
Okay,
I don't know you.
I can respect that. I can respect that.
Okay.
When I got to your apartment to pick you up, you didn't want to invite me in. I can respect that too. We're not
Again, I don't know
there
yet.
Okay.
I don't know yet.
And then, but
I mean, I feel like I'm doing everything I'm supposed to do as a woman.
But
I got myself all made up.
There's nothing wrong with the Cheesecake Factory, right?
Yes, there's a lot wrong with the Cheesecake Factory.
Okay, well, look at my planner where we were gonna go originally.
See, now that's where we should have went. All right there. Call him.
No.
What do you mean no?
See, I specifically told you both yesterday and this morning that I'd come to pick you up at 4 p.m. Right? And I got to your place at 4 p.m. You didn't even come downstairs for another hour, and so I was waiting downstairs for an hour. Right?
But I wasn't expecting for work to take me so long. I got home a little late, and like I said, I don't know you well enough to invite you up into my apartment, and that is not possible.
And that's why I'm saying, I'm thinking, okay, if we're not there in the relationship to, you know, meet at your apartment, then maybe we're not ready in a relationship for such a nice fancy restaurant as Aria, especially if I'm paying for the whole thing, which I'm still willing to do. I would have been, but if we're late, I mean, I told you twice.
It wasn't that late.
We literally left your place at the time the reservation was supposed to be. And I specifically said 4 because maybe we could get there early and even have some time to get to know each other on the way there and while we're in the parking lot.
I mean,
waiting for a reservation.
We can still get to know each other. Isn't there another restaurant you can call that, like, you know, the equivalent to that? I mean,
I literally
you don't understand. Look at me. I cannot go in the Cheesecake Factory.
There's nothing wrong with
I will die. That's embarrassing.
Listen, as I said, I have very specific certain expectations for that. I can tell it's not gonna be there. And maybe we're not right for each other. So respectfully, I'm gonna just drop you off at home.
Oh no, he didn't.
Yeah, I'm up.
So you just want to call it a night? I mean, isn't there some kind of compromise or something? Ladies, can you believe this?
I'm sorry, y'all.
He's out of the parking space.
If I don't feel respected, I am not gonna go through with the rest of the day.
Well, I mean, you are serious. You're really leaving.
Yeah. I mean, you didn't want this place anyway, right?
I mean, I understand that I was late. I understand that. I understand that I could have been a bit more cooperative. You made some good points. That's why I'm willing to compromise. Are you sure you want to go home?
I don't have a lot of rules. I don't have a lot of expectations for a first date, but I've already set them, and you've broken every one.
Oh
so,
my God.
I'm sorry. We're dropping you off home.
All right, whatever. Well, guess I understand. You gotta do what you gotta do. I understand where you're coming from.
That
48 oysters is diabolical. And I really hate when y'all be having me siding with the men because y'all are acting like banshees. Because the thing is, I don't blame that man for walking out. I don't. But
y'all already know what I'm gonna say. Can we just start out with the fact who the fuck is eating 48 oysters? Just slurping them bitches down. Who is doing it? Second, I think this topic in general is more important than just this one situation. Because ladies, a lot of y'all go out on these dates and y'all take full advantage of the fact that you know that the man that you're on the date with is going to pay for it. And because of that, y'all will sit there and order a bunch of shit that you would not order if you was just by yourself. Like, let's talk about that. Because y'all...
baby, when I tell you, not only was you acting up in that car, but you literally act like Cheesecake Factory is not your favorite restaurant. Because you literally said you have been there so many times this week, meaning that you keep going back to back because their menu is a book long. So there's so many different options. Secondly, you were late.
You're going to bring this into there? My first thought is, where do you get off? Some men don't even want to pay for dates totally anymore and totally want to go Dutch. First of all, I would have kicked her out of my car right there. Because if this is a first date and she is already upset that you are taking her to the Cheesecake Factory on a date, that means she's way too high maintenance. You don't want to go in the Cheesecake Factory? Fine. Remove yourself from my car and call yourself an Uber. And if you don't remove yourself from my car, I will call an Uber for you because that Uber will cost way less than you will over time. That's real simple and straight to the point, and that's all I got to say about it.
You got to think about that, right? And that shows immaturity.
So here's my take on it. Let me agree with the consensus for the sake of argument, for the sake of debate. Let me just say, okay, I'm going to agree with you that these two ladies are rude. Let me agree and say, okay, that the woman was rude at the Oyster bar. And yes, the lady at the Cheesecake Factory could have communicated better that she was not all right going there to the Cheesecake Factory for a first-time date. Let me also show you some nicer women and girls as an alternative who would have loved to eat only a few oysters off of one plate. She would have shared the plate with you, not eat up the whole thing or four of them. And let me also show you some women who would have jumped out of the car and probably would have easily been impressed by a date at the Cheesecake Factory. So, okay, the first lady that we have is Miss Geneva Kennedy. She looks so beautiful and so wonderful. And then the next one is Patricia Johnson. Oh, she looks so nice. She looks like she has such a nice temperament, so sweet. Here's another one, Shauna Leonard. She looks very nice. And here's another one. I hope I'm pronouncing her name correctly. Her name is Courtney Ann Kanani Prejo. She's about 37 years old. She looks like she was very nice. Would have enjoyed just having a couple of oysters. Would have enjoyed ordering off the menu at the Cheesecake Factory. It would have been the occasion itself just to be able to dress up and go to the Cheesecake Factory. Here is another one. She's so sweet and she's young. She's 16 years old, very ambitious. Her name is Mackenzie Bullard. Okay? She was working at McDonald's and ready to graduate high school early, you know. So I'm sure it would have been like a luxury trip to go to the Oyster bar for her, let alone the Cheesecake Factory. And then we have another one. Her name is Kimoni Williams. She looks like she would have enjoyed the Cheesecake Factory. Okay. Demaya R. Calhoun, age 17. Beautiful, gorgeous. She looks like she was so sweet and so nice. And would have loved the Cheesecake Factory, would have loved some oysters. And here's another one, Laura McCormick. She has that wholesome appeal, that girl next door appeal, just nice and sweet. Probably would have gotten a picnic basket and been okay going to the beach. All these nice and sweet, wonderful women. I am sure, I'm positive that all of these girls and women would have found it very enjoyable to go on a Cheesecake Factory date, or would have been happy going to get a drink, or going to get a cup of tea, or going to get some coffee on a coffee date, or going to a picnic where they actually brought the food in the picnic basket themselves, with a blanket to lie down on the ground in a park somewhere out in the open on a bright sunny day. I am sure that all of these women would have happily let the guy into their apartments to wait comfortably on her couch while she gets ready for the date. I am sure that amongst these girls and women, there are sure to be some nice and sweet ones who would have said, I love you, to the guy first. They would have said it first. And later on, some of them might have even proposed to him because she loves him so much. However, it's unfortunate that they are no longer here to be nice and sweet, because males shot all of them. All of these women are victims whose profiles can be found on the gun memorial. May they all rest in peace. And my deepest condolences to their families and those who loved them. Here, let me show you something real quick. Imagine that this is a dating pool. Over here are all the women from the gun memorial, along with Miss Oyster Bar and Miss Cheesecake Factory, and the baby mama from the random man in Atlanta. I just wanted to throw her in as a bonus. Okay? Bear in mind that all of these women are real life people. They, as of August of 2023, every single last one of them were all alive simultaneously, and each of them had a pulse in August of 2023. Right now, we're in October of 2023. Okay? Now, let's see what happens between September of 2023 and October of 2023 when an unsuitable male gets mad, acts out, and happens to have a pew-pew in his hand. So now all of your nice girls and women are over here in the cemetery. And oh yes, some nice girls, by the way, did not even have a chance to be born. That's why I didn't include them in the dating pool, because they weren't even born. Because they were aborted for having a vajayjay and not having a peen. You see, from my perspective, a lot of the people who are complaining about Miss Oyster Bar and Miss Cheesecake Factory, first off, they do not know how to count. They haven't paid enough tuition to understand things better around them. They do not pay attention to birth rates or gender ratios and the impact that femicide can have on the dating pool. And what all of this has done has created a gender imbalance that is so severe globally that it means that there are more than 70 million boys and men on the planet than there are girls and women. If everyone knew how to count or respected those who can, they would have respected nature's gender ratio, which typically yields one girl for each boy that is born. But nope. There were gender selective abortions because everyone wanted to have a son to pass their inheritance to. But no one paid attention to that 1-to-1 ratio until that son grew up, and now there is no woman for him to marry.
The most dangerous man in the world is a man with no access to females. Every school shooter, every fucking mass murderer, these are all dudes who have no access to females. And I'm not talking about just sex, because they can jerk off. I'm talking about an emotional connection with females. If you take a man and he has zero emotional connection to any female on earth, he is a dangerous man. There's something biological about you as an individual, as a man. Women soften men. I can tell you this. I can tell you.
The most dangerous person in the world is a man who's broken and alone. What do you mean by that?
I have been feeling and seeing this notion of how poorly young men are doing. I just can see it in my friends with their sons. I have friends who have 2 daughters and a son. I'm saying this metaphorically, but the younger daughter's working at a PR firm in Chicago, and the son is in their basement vaping and playing video games. 7 to 10 high school valedictorians are girls. For every 1 male college graduate over the next 5 years, there's going to be 2 female college graduates. 93% of mass shooters are men, 3 times more likely to overdose, 4 times more likely to commit suicide, 12 times more likely to be incarcerated. They do work.
When you get enough lonely single men in their young ages of like 20 to 30, right, with no family, no kids, nothing to die for, to stand for, you're going to have public tragedies keep happening. Soon they'll start targeting higher ups in government because, once the greed sets in from those at the top and they take more and more and more and you're left with nothing, then you'll really see the, quote, revolt everybody talks about.
A lot of the jobs that young men used to have as on-ramps into the middle class were generally industries that over-index male, manufacturing, frontline work. Those jobs have been outsourced overseas. In addition, once we leveled the playing field academically, women just blew by men. Women are more mature, they're more disciplined, they're better at delaying gratification. And over the next 5 years, we're going to have 2 women graduate from college from every 1 man. So what we have is an entire cohort of what I call emotionally and economically unviable men. And so women are leveling up, and it's great, but they're not interested in the men our society is producing right now. And the most violent, unstable societies in the world all have too many of the same thing, and that is a broke and lonely young man. And we are producing too many of them. Women are more mature, they're more disciplined, they're better at delaying gratification. Women are more mature, they're more disciplined, they're better at delaying gratification. Women are more mature, they're more disciplined, they're better at delaying gratification.
They do not pay attention to birth rates or gender ratios and the impact that femicide can have on the dating pool. And what all of this has done has created a gender imbalance that is so severe globally that it means that there are more than 70 million boys and men on the planet than there are girls and women. If everyone knew how to count or respected those who can, they would have respected nature's gender ratio, which typically yields 1 girl for each boy that is born. But nope. There were gender selective abortions because everyone wanted to have a son to pass their inheritance to. But no one paid attention to that 1-to-1 ratio until that son grew up, and now there is no woman for him to marry. Who will he pass the inheritance on to now? And that's just one issue, gender selective abortions. There are others. Because let's add to the gender selective abortions that 1 out of 3 girls and women are routinely subjected to physical and sexual violence, primarily by their own partners. And add to it that every 68 seconds within the US alone, someone is R-worded. And you wonder why the surviving women amongst us are not so nice. Now, if that's not enough, add to it that Roe versus Wade was overturned, so now we're forced to give birth even when we are R-worded. We are forced to give birth to the children of males who may beat on us, cheat on us, give us diseases, and say that they're also going to delete us, take us off the planet. And you have the audacity to wonder why she's living it up on your dime, slurping your oysters and saying no to the Cheesecake Factory. I want a 5-star restaurant. You go ahead. You call them. Listen, for those of you who bought into the patriarchy, both men and women alike, males and females, I'm referring to the males and the females. Those are the ones that know what's happening, but they just want it their way and they don't care. Listen, you can't have it both ways. You cannot oppress women, put us into early graves, cripple us through laws and so forth, and then turn around and get big mad when the handful of women amongst us who are left, who are still willing to go out on casual dates with you say that they want to go to a 5-star restaurant as a first-time encounter. That you have to make at least 6 figures as a bare minimum, and that your qualifications to have and support a family will have to be stellar up front. We're not going to build with you. We're not going to be builded Brendas. Those days are over with. It is a survival tactic on the part of the women. As you can see, that Miss Oyster Bar and Miss Cheesecake Factory, both of them survived their dates. And so did the gentleman that they went out with. However, some women don't even survive that.
Learning more tonight about the 20-year-old Nashville woman killed after police say a man she met on a dating app shot her. Police say China Cheryl leaves behind a young child, worked at Lowe's. News 4's Courtney Allen has been working on the story all day. It is so frightening, Courtney, knowing that dating apps are how so many couples meet these days. What more have you learned about this suspect involved?
That's right, Tracy. Metro Police say they believe 20-year-old Isaiah Burr used his dating app profile to contact women as part of a robbery scheme, and says it's possible there are more victims out there. Metro Police says they've heard from jurisdictions in Indiana and Kentucky that Burr possibly committed crimes against victims in those states using dating app profiles. At this point, Metro Police has not ruled out that Burr may have more victims here in Nashville, but they say none have come forward yet. Police say Burr met Cheryl through a dating app and shot her, leaving her critically wounded after her car crashed into a Dickerson Road bank. Cheryl died from her injuries yesterday.
I'm back, and listen, and respectfully, the women that don't survive, the women that have been put into their early graves behind the same men that want to talk about how it's not enough of nice women out there and want to complain about the ones that are left behind surviving, behind the same women who sided with toxic patriarchy and expect us to be nicer. Okay, this is what happened to the regular women. Because, see, the rest of us don't want to hear anything about a date unless it involves a passport and an all expenses paid trip with separate rooms, along with the flight tickets and the accommodations being exclusively in our names only. You know why? It's because we've already seen what you will do to the nice girls. We saw you turn them into ex-wives, into baby mamas, and more of you nowadays are turning them into sex workers so that you and your single and lonely friends can share access to her while you beat her down. We have survived the breakups with you. And when we did, we sat there and observed how your so-called friends came behind you and tried to get with us. We've seen it all. And we have no mercy for you, because still to this day, you all who wanted us biological women to be nice, you don't show any mercy for us. You see, the nice girl, she accepted the cheap dates. She only nibbled on her food and took sips from her drink to make it last when she sat down at the table, because she was doing all that she could to show you how nice of a girl she was. She showered you with affection, all because you nodded at her and said hi. The nice girls did all of the things that the people in the society thought that women should do, and look at what happened to them. You put all the nice girls into the graves, or at a bare minimum, you made them random baby mamas from Atlanta and then ostracized them. So we biological women are in survival mode. There are 70 million more people on the planet that are boys and men or have XY chromosomes than there are those of us who are girls and women or have double X chromosomes. And we do not want to become a random baby mama in Atlanta, in Detroit, in Chicago, in Dallas, in LA, in Philly, in DC, or wherever else, Miami. We don't want to be a random baby mama. Toxic patriarchy is an economic scheme that normalized males giving, for an example, 4 pennies to women in exchange for $5 worth of effort from her part. Now that the toxic patriarchal grift is running dry, because of a global woman shortage. Now that people are more exposed to the world around them and are collectively more educated, what you all are experiencing is that you now have to give 500 pennies in order to get that same $5 bill that you used to get by giving 4 pennies. See, toxic patriarchy fooled you all into believing that unfair exchanges with women is normal. But that's not how life works on this planet. You cannot beat up and mistreat women and then expect cooperation in exchange. If you want more cooperative women within the society that you reside in, then you will have to be more cooperative with women in general. If you want social stability, if you like having a family, if you enjoy being healthier, wealthier, and living longer, if you like living in a society with good sound infrastructure, if you want to be more knowledgeable and more educated, it's not going to happen by exchanging the restriction of women's rights for it. Women's rights have already been restricted for centuries, and we have survived all of the treachery, the femicide, the witch hunts, the gender-selective abortions. We have survived it all. Your use of laws and religion to manipulate our human rights is not new to us. That's why we can slurp oysters in your face and not go to the Cheesecake Factory unless it is attached to a high-end mall. Sprinkle, sprinkle. The outcome of any scheme that uses male domination as a tactic is social extinction. The ancient Romans were very brutal to their women, and so were the ancient Greeks. And the only thing that is left of their civilization are ruins. Even the Latin language went extinct. However, the outcome of cooperating with women is social and economic stability. It takes 4 quarters to get $1 bill.
Say 1, 2, 3, and 4 quarters make $1. Say 1, 2, 3, and 4 quarters make $1.
Fair is fair. We don't want to be a random baby mama. As a matter of fact, I foresee that casual dating will go extinct, and that the only way to meet a person from this point forward will be through matchmakers. That dudes will not only have to show their qualifications to the matchmaker in order to contract their services, they will also have to pay a fee to the matchmaker to set them up on dates, along with paying for everything on the date. You haven't seen anything yet, because matchmakers are common in other parts of the world. The U.S. is late to the game. You see, the easiest way to prove a fool wrong is by allowing him or her to have their way. So everyone who advocated for the domination, oppression, and control of girls and women, those who dismissed the interests that women collectively held within the society that would progress us forward, such as universal health care, guaranteed shelter, free college up to the graduate level, and so forth, now you all are enjoying the outcomes of your decisions collectively. This includes a declining birth rates, kind of hard to get it on and make babies when your mom and grandma are within earshot of you. And speaking of babies, they cost about a good 25 grand to deliver on a good day without complications in the hospital. See, if we had universal health care, then it wouldn't cost anything, if much at all. And personally, I think it shouldn't cost anything, since babies eventually grow up to contribute through their labor to the economy. But if the majority of the population was college educated, then earning an income that is substantial enough to care for a growing family would not be such a challenge for the average U.S. citizen. However, since these things were often dismissed over time as not having any merit simply because it was stuff that women like to see collectively, I said collectively, I know that there are men on this side of things that support the things that women find interest in. However, in this toxic patriarchy, usually when women advocate for stuff, it's often dismissed and looked down on. So since that happened, well, here we are looking at a lady slurping oysters and saying nope to the Cheesecake Factory. I want a 5-star restaurant. They are being as nice to you as you have collectively been to us. That's all I have to say for now. Please be sure to like, subscribe, comment, and click on the notifications bell so you'll know whenever I upload any new content. Take care until next time.